Welcome to the Whisky Explorer. Thanks so much for tuning in for another episode, guys. And if you haven't done so already, if you could please do us a quick favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave us a comment down below. Let us know if you've tried this bourbon. If you have, what are your thoughts on it? And tonight, guys, we have got an awesome bottle from Michter's. We have got the Bomberger's 2022 release. Alright guys, so this Bomberger's here is coming from Michter's distillery. This is one of their two kind of special releases that they do on a yearly basis. So they do this and they also do the Shanks Homestead. And the idea is, basically Michter's owns the rights to the names of those distilleries, which were sort of foundational in the early days for Michter's. So it's kind of harkening back to those two famous brands that were kind of tied into Michter's. But we've got the Bomberger's here, which is my favorite of the two. And this one here is a beautiful looking bottle. I'll show you guys some of the bottle in the B-roll, but just a very classic kind of vintage, kind of, Prohibition era feeling kind of bottle. Just kind of love this bottle. And it is bottled at 54% ABV or 108 proof. So we are getting a nice proof point on this bourbon here. And I actually really enjoy Michter's bourbon. So it is awesome to have something like this that is bottled at a bit of a higher strength. I would say my only complaint with Michter's is that a lot of the releases are kind of quite low in the ABV, especially their American whiskey, which is, just above 40%. And then there's also the Sour Mash, which is 43%. And then, I think that their single barrel rye kind of hovers around 42%. So again, most of the releases, other than really their bourbon, which is around 46.7, something like that, they are quite low in the ABV. So I love to get something from Michter's that's a bit of a higher strength. Now, what is also interesting about Michter's, though, is that it is sourced whiskey. So they are sourcing, but they are very tight-lipped about that. So they are not transparent in terms of who they are sourcing from. Nobody really knows. Of course, there are, rumors floating around the bourbon forums, and you can kind of hit the Google button and do the research, but no one really knows for sure. But it's fantastic whiskey nonetheless. Very excited to dive into the Bomberger's 2022 release with you guys. Now, this bottle came from our Spirit release in kind of November of 2022. So it is a bottle from last year, but I'm just getting around to reviewing this. I've got quite a backlog of bottles to review, so I actually really enjoy this one, so I wanted to get to it. I actually had a chance to try this at the Whiskey Festival in Victoria in 2019, and I absolutely loved the Bomberger's. Like, it was one of, I think, if not the best bourbon that I tried that night. It was definitely in the top 3, and I do remember it being kind of the best bourbon that I tasted that night. So, fantastic stuff. I was super stoked to acquire this one here. All right, so looking at the color in the glass, guys, this is just a wonderful, rich, dark mahogany tone to it. I just love the depth of color in this. It's so inviting. It just has that kind of look of just a super kind of well-aged, decent proof, or high proof or barrel proof bourbon. I'll show you guys a little bit of the bottle here. You will have seen it in the B-roll, but just a very nice, very beautiful kind of dark, inviting color there. Just the rich mahogany. You know you love it, guys. You know you love that dark mahogany. All right, let's get in the nose on the Michter's Bomberger's 2022 release. Cheers. Wow, guys, so this nose is just so dessert sweet. It is like a quintessential kind of candied, deep, dark cherry note. You're getting also some chocolate kind of mixed in there, so it could even be like chocolate-covered cherries. Just a very sweet kind of creamy vanilla tone comes in. Just beautiful caramel note as well, mixed in with definitely some woody notes. So there's sweet oak, and there's a little bit of kind of like more fresher, kind of like almost a hickory kind of note to the, like a little bit of wood smoke going on. Very subtle in the background there, but it's there nonetheless, and it's super, super enticing. Sweet cherry, deep dark cherry notes, chocolate, just beautiful cream, kind of vanilla note, sweet oak, and there's like a little bit of a singy kind of rye note there as well. So there's like a little bit of a jump out of the spicing in there as well. Just a little bit, but it's definitely on the sweet side of things. So think, you know, like you put on your toast, you do like, you know, the cinnamon toast crunch, you know, type deal. So you kind of mix some sugar in with some cinnamon, you sprinkle that on your buttered toast. It's kind of got that really nice sweet baking spice vibe to it as well. Oh, and now I'm getting like buttered popcorn on there as well. So there's just like a really nice kind of buttery kind of viscosity to the nose on this as well, if that's even a thing. Just an absolute killer nose, guys. You could sit here and nose this all night. It's fantastic nose on this. That is absolutely tremendous. Love it. Okay, let's go in for the palate because I just can't wait. Cheers. Wow, guys, this just lights up the palate. It is just absolutely mouth coating, fully palate enveloping. It smashes you right away with that beautiful, deep, dark, rich cherry note. You're also getting some nice kind of dark chocolate notes coming in there. So I could almost kind of be convinced that it's like, you know, a dark chocolate covered, you know, very nice, you know, overripe cherry. Almost like a, you know, candied cherry note. Then there's this just beautiful creamy vanilla note that comes in, mixes in with just a fantastic kind of caramel note. And then it's all brown sugar, molasses, and the transition to kind of the mid palate and the finish. That's when you're getting a real beautiful kick of the rice spicing coming in. Oh wow, guys, it just lasts and lingers on the palate here. I'm still getting that sweet vanilla note, sweet oak, beautiful deep dark cherry note. This is absolutely a banger of a bourbon, guys. The Bomberger's 2022 release, if you don't have it yet and you're sleeping on this one and you can get it in your area, guys, absolutely grab this bottle. It is fantastic. Wow. I am just loving this bottle. Just loving it, guys. This is going to go right up there, I think, with some of my absolute favorite bourbons of all time. So, you know, Stag Junior, Russell's Reserve single barrel picks, you know, those deep, dark, you know, rich bourbon tones. Those are really singing loud here, guys. So you get that rich kind of mid to late palate and finish. Oak note coming in, a little bit drying just slightly, but there's still so much sweetness at play there. There's the vanilla, brown sugar, caramel, and a beautiful kind of rendition of baking spices, just crescendoing in the finish of the dram there. You've got cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove mixed in with some, you know, sugars like brown sugar and molasses. Just, I am kind of overwhelmed here, guys. This is fantastic. Let's go in for another taste. All right, I can't wait because, guys, you can tell I just recently acquired this bottle and, you know, it's got some damage. I just popped this at a whiskey night with some buddies, you know, maybe like a month ago, and we're already deep past the shoulder here, guys, and I'm loving it. So let's go on the palate again here, guys. Cheers. Just fantastic. So I gave it a good Kentucky chew there. I cut away because I don't want to do that to my audience. But, you know, really had a chance to chew on this one. I get that deep, dark, sweet cherry note mixing in with some nice kind of, you know, chocolate cocoa notes. And then there's this transition to all this kind of vanilla ice cream sweetness that comes in. That creamy palate, which is, you know, totally kind of mouth coating. That mixes in with a beautiful kind of caramel, butterscotch, toffee type note. Then you've got that intermingled with definitely some thick, sweet molasses, brown sugar notes. And again, there is just a fantastic singy kind of rye note that finishes this bourbon all off with some beautiful baking spices. So we've got cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, kind of allspice mixed in there. A nice warming Kentucky hug as it goes down. Guys, I'm raving about this bourbon because believe me, it is that good. At this point in the bottle where it's just past the shoulder, you're talking about the sweet spot for bourbon for me. So 54%, 108 proof. It's got a nice proof point to it. It's not barrel proof, mind you. It's not foolproof, but hey, it's getting up there, and it's just, you know, it's opened up just absolutely beautifully. When I first opened this bottle, I was like, wow, okay, this bottle is, you know, $210 before our ridiculous taxes here in BC. I'm thinking that's a very expensive bottle. It used to be, when it first came out, when I first started seeing it in the Spirit release, maybe let's say around 2018, it was about $180. So it was already an expensive bottle, and as you guys know, bourbon ain't getting any cheaper, so prices are soaring, and this is about 210 Canadian here in BC before our ridiculous 15% tax. So that means, you know, you're out the door with, you know, close to a $230 bottle, but guys, this stuff is just fantastic. This is a dream for bourbon lovers everywhere. Guys, go out and grab a bottle of this Bomberger's 2022 release. You will not regret it. Thanks so much for joining me for this review, guys. Until next time, may your sails be full and your jams be fuller. Cheers.